You wake up and your mind is already busy. Before the day has even started, it is running through what might go wrong, what you forgot, what you should have done better. Even small things can set it off. A message you haven't answered yet, a look you're not sure how to read, a plan that suddenly feels fragile. It doesn't feel like you choose these thoughts. They arrive on their own, fast and heavy, as if your mind is trying to get ahead of something. You may have told yourself, more than once, that you're too negative. Maybe people around you have said the same. They tell you to just think positive, as if there were a switch you hadn't bothered to flip. But nothing in you is lazy or defective. What looks like negativity from the outside often feels, on the inside, like protection, like your mind trying to keep you from being caught off guard. Psychology has a name for one piece of this: negativity bias. In simple terms, it means your mind pays more attention to what might hurt than to what might help. It holds on to painful moments more tightly than pleasant ones. For some people, this bias runs at a higher volume. Your thoughts scan for risk first and relief second. A neutral situation quickly turns into, what if this goes wrong? Long before, what if this goes well? Even has a chance to speak up. Over time, your mind may have learned something called defensive anticipation. That simply means expecting the worst on purpose, so you won't be blindsided if it happens. To other people, it might sound pessimistic. To you, it feels responsible. Hope can feel dangerous because it raises the stakes. If you prepare for disappointment, you believe the impact will hurt less when it comes. Seen this way, your so-called negative thinking has a clear job. It is trying to keep you safe, not just from events, but from the feeling of emotional shock. Your thoughts move ahead of life, scanning the road for anything that might hurt. You may miss some of the good, but you also feel more prepared. In a world that has surprised you in painful ways, this can feel like the only sensible way to think. What many people don't understand is how automatic this becomes. Over years of letdowns, criticism, or sudden changes, the mind starts to adjust its expectations downward. It remembers, when I hoped, I got hurt. When I braced, I survived. Slowly, the habit of bracing hardens into a style of thinking. It stops feeling like a strategy and starts feeling like just who you are. You live with a tension most people never see. On one side, there is the part of you that notices danger, unfairness, and risk before anyone else. On the other, there is a quieter part that still wants to relax, to trust, to stop carrying so much mental weight. The world often rewards surface optimism and calls anything else a bad attitude. Meanwhile, you are carrying the job of seeing what could go wrong, a job no one thanks you for, but that you don't quite know how to put down. This can be exhausting. Constantly looking for what might fail keeps you alert, but also tired. You may pull back from plans, people, or new experiences, not because you don't care, but because your mind has already run through every possible outcome and needs rest. It may look like indifference from the outside. Inside, it often feels like being overfull. Too many what-ifs, not enough quiet. Society tends to celebrate positive thinking and label anything else as a flaw. But your mind is not broken for leaning toward the negative. It is simply organized around protection rather than possibility. It learned, through experience, that staying one step ahead of disappointment felt safer than trusting that things would work out. There is nothing inherently wrong with the way your mind works. Different does not mean defective. A brain that watches for threat is still a brain capable of joy, connection, and depth. It simply arrives there by a more cautious path. Maybe, for now, it's enough just to see this clearly. Your negative thoughts are not proof that you are broken, but a language your mind learned to stay safe in a world that has not always been gentle. And if you want to keep exploring the psychology of who you are and why you think the way you do, subscribe, so you don't lose the reminder that your mind makes sense.